To the head. Trashy magazines and pretty trashy people. I just hoped I could keep them out of the crime section. They weren't waiting on my say-so. I had to move. The great thing about being famous as well as rich is the bad guys know who to kidnap. I knew if I didn't get to the girls soon, they'd be leaving this place with either a price on their heads or a tag on their toes. Your typical trendy hellhole, a playground for the overpreened and undernourished. Sushi and house music and vodka, a place you don't get through the door unless you're rich, beautiful, or in this instance, it seemed, about the only thing I'd managed to clock in that poor bastard's name was Claudio. I found out later he was a pretty big shot soccer player for the Galatians, some nearly superstar just back from Europe. The usual. Scored goals, scored girls. The only box he'd be getting into now was the one he'd be leaving. I didn't know what they were, but this was a nightclub, and I'd never been a picky eater.
Don't shoot, por favor.
You an American?
Sure. Yeah, I'm from Steele, North Dakota, just outside of Bismarck. Anders Stetling. This is some place, huh? They told me it was a little fresh, but I wasn't expecting things to be quite like this.
No?
No, see, I've seen things. I was a cop for 25 years. I've seen men run over by combines. I've seen husbands who just ate their wives, but a gunfight at a disco.
You were a cop?
Yeah, just retired. Oh, what a life that was. And it gave me the money to raise a family. Well, I got a girl at college at Wisconsin and a boy who's playing football for Minnesota State. You want to see their picture?
No, that's all right. Sounds nice. Listen, you're staying here. Don't be a hero.
Oh, I won't. I'm retired.
Happy, healthy ex-cop? Give me a break. It looked loud and expensive enough to be Fabiana's. Her fashion sense didn't leave a whole lot of room for imagination, let alone food. The girl sure knew how to draw the eye, and maybe that was the problem. But at least I was heading in the right direction. I had no choice. Victor's political campaign was starting to come unstuck. Seemed the Broncos' luck was on the turn. If only that was the worst news they'd received that day.
Isso está ficando vergonhoso! Ela não vale a pena. Temos a mulher do branco. Foi por isso que viemos aqui. O Serrano vai cortar nosso saco se ela escapar. Vou gostar de matar essa puta. Tem muita coisa.
This was a meth. It was Giovanna's necklace. I had to hope the rest of her was still intact. Mr. Victor Bronco was friends in high places. He had just as many enemies.
Let's see if this thing works.
Our $3 million man had locked the doors behind him.
Wasting time, man!
It suddenly hit me that this bloodbath was probably being recorded in HD. The Galatians would be making more than the sports pages. Luckily for us, the blood money was still bleeding. What was I doing back here? This wasn't the time to be admiring a bunch of overpaid heroes I'd never even heard of.
Time to move, bro!
Yeah, I hear you. Just what my 10 different online doctors ordered. Claudio, their golden boy. He'd sure picked the wrong party on the wrong night. Although if the past week was anything to go by, it was safe to assume any party with the Broncos in attendance was the wrong one to be at.
We're on you! Make a run for it, I'll keep it busy!
All right!
Come on, Mac! Move! Come on, move, move!
Stay cool or we might survive this!
Hell!
The bar held a lot of... But this was no time for bad jokes. This old guy, my days of playing dress-up were over. I wasn't some gallant knight. I didn't need a shield. Waiting for a chance to make a difference. At least that's what helps me sleep at night. The apartment made me wish I'd got... Looked like he was keeping an eye on me. Must have thought we were kindred spirits. More and more, I think he was right. It made for interesting reading. If I'd been given a few more years looking into the bottom of a glass, I might have been on the same page. The place should have been knocked down years before, but my lease turned out to be the order of demolition.
I'm fine with the leather.
There's plenty here. Go and beg it.
This don't show the blood so much.
Looked like Passos had brought us to the right place. That was the chopper the Commando Sombre used to escape the nightclub attack. If Fabiana wasn't around here, then at least someone that knew where she was had to be. I didn't want to think about what would be happening on that video feed now. Just, they probably made their ransom notes from the same glossy magazines they used to select their victims. This was a second request for payment. The best of intentions at the stadium weren't enough to cover it. They'd been making a reality show starring Sao Paulo's favorite housewife. Probably thought it would grease the wheels with the ransom money, but it only made me want to shove the cash down their throats. It seemed Serrano's boys had targeted the entire Bronco family and didn't give a shit which one they pinched. Serrano was reading his reviews. Vain chump. The newspaper was plastered with the news of the first kidnapping attempt. These were the floor plans to the nightclub. Seemed to Mr. Serrano like to be prepared. Proper little Boy Scout. I had to keep on going across the docks. At least Fabiana was being eaten by mosquitoes instead of caimans. I might just bring her home.